the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. To Zion. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. You hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way. God, my path, show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. Shalom, shalom. Hit the like button, brothers and sisters. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. Shalom, brothers and sisters. We're the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm Elder Rawchaa along with Elder Lawya, here with our weekly Sabbath lesson. Okay? The false idols are coming down. And what does that mean? For prophecy, the false idols are coming down. There's so much we need to unpack with this particular lesson to give brothers and sisters the insight to how the gods behind the screen or behind the curtain are actually introduced into society. And I'm speaking of the false gods who were always against the God of all gods. And there's signs in the earth that lets us know that that's right, realm wars going on. And it plays out real time in plain sight for all of us. Listen to what I'm saying. There's clear indications when the Most High God is angry and He's at war, destroying the idols in the earth. It's a sign that society will soon fall. And that's why I'm going into this. Brothers and sisters don't really understand the magnitude of evil that comes with idolatry. And I hope through this particular lesson, brothers and sisters begin to understand the depths of this in order to come on the right side or get on the right side of prophecy. Okay? How do you identify an idolater? How do the nations use idolatry as an advantage over God's people? How do we gain the advantage? Okay? How do we recognize that's right? When idolatry, listen to me clearly, when idolatry is being emphasized from a prophetic standpoint. Well, that's why we have the Bible, right? So we're going to go in the beginning all the way through to show you the evils that come with idolatry, because folks, it's deeper than anyone could think. Some would probably believe or think, okay, what harm can be done simply taking an idol or some type of artifact and worshiping it or praying to it? It seems simple on the surface, right? It seems like a simple act. You aren't hurting anybody. You're doing something on your own time. And there's some level of what you would call tranquility and peace that comes with certain aspects of it. I'm not harming nobody. I paid for the idol. Buddha's in my house, or this African thing is in my house. It's a charm. It's a good luck. Or I just feel comfortable having these things in my life. Well, see if you feel the same or think the same after the lesson. After the lesson. Okay? Now, before I go in, let me give you an insight to what we'll be tapping into tomorrow. All right. We're going to be going into tomorrow, the lesson, finding the Ark of the Covenant will be the lesson for tomorrow. And I need to go there in finding the Ark of the Covenant because some idolaters and others get confused also. When we point to the evils of idolatry, they'll say, well, Moses held a serpent or a staff before the people and parted the Red Sea. Wouldn't that be considered an idol? He told people to look upon it. No, it wouldn't be considered an idol. Okay? Keep in mind, no one said in any law to bow down to the staff that Moses held as a staff coming out of Egypt. Okay? That was just a staff being held while the Most High power was operating. Then they'll say, well, the Levites, they had the Ark of the Covenant and that power that was in that. And many people would deem that an idol. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. That is really, right, on a whole other level. It was a connection between the heavenly realm and wherever the Israelites were, even up until the time Solomon built the temple, and there was a place in the temple for that particular gateway. Okay? No one bowed down to it. No one had to worship it. It was a connection. It was a communication portal and also a weapon the Most High would use to destroy our enemies. But never, ever was it ever utilized as what? As an idol to be worshiped by the Israelites. No one can find that anywhere in the Bible. But this is what pagans do, folks. Pagans use these in the Bible to justify their wicked idolatry actions. Right? And to the ignorant, that explanation is enough. Okay, so I'm going to go into finding the Ark of the Covenant tomorrow. It's not an idol. We had many things. We had many particular artifacts that were utilized for the services of the priests. Okay. We had the showbread. We had the rod that buddeth, Aaron's rod that buddeth. We had the menorah in there. Okay. We had many things in the ark, to do the actual priesthood. Okay. We had the place for sacrifices. But nowhere in the Bible did it say take these separate things to make what? A charm or an idol to worship. Okay, so let's not confuse the two. There's a lot going on in the earth. A lot going on. So I'm going to go into this, but before I do that, let me tell you, we're dealing with the Ark of the Covenant, finding it tomorrow. Now, this is why. This is why we have to touch on this tomorrow. Let's get it here. Britannica, and I got this out of Britannica, but I'm going to go through some things through the Smithsonian Institute, right? Tomorrow also, where they're giving their insight to where is the Ark of the Covenant, right? Where is the Ark of the Covenant? You have your Jewish theories on where it might be. Christian's theory, speaking that it's metaphorically in Christ now and others. Philosophy and vain deceit. Then we have Steven Spielberg, which I consider a serious, antichrist in certain, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the biblical exegesis we're coming from. This guy isn't right as far as I'm concerned, according to the Bible, and he would be the last person I would utilize to bring forth a production to find the Ark of the Covenant. With Raiders of the Lost Ark, folks, they muddied the waters even more. Y'all know the story. Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, going on an excavation after connecting with some of these museums to find the Ark of the Covenant. Folks, they muddied the waters even more, claiming it was in Egypt. And then there was some theories that, as you can find here, one of the most well-known theories about the Ark, and again, it's a theory, is that it's linked to Ethiopia. The 14th century natural epic, the Kimbra Nagas, which is straight garbage. Let me put it that way. According to this account, Queen Sheba visited King Solomon in Jerusalem, and during the 10th century BC had a son by the name, by her, this Menelik character, right? Right? Had a son by him. On her journey home, their son named Menelik returned to Jerusalem once he was of age, although Menelik ultimately chose to go back to his mother. Solomon sent him with a company of Jewish Scythians, but unbeknownst to Solomon or Menelik, these companions frustrated about leaving Jerusalem, decided to take a souvenir of sorts, the Ark of the Covenant. It was too late for Solomon to retrieve the sacred vessel. Are you kidding me? What Bible are they reading? I mean, you have to realize the power of the Ark of the Covenant and how the Most High constructed it according to the Bible, and who could touch it and all that. Okay? How can you smuggle the Ark of the Covenant right from up under Solomon? Total garbage. Then they got this little church somewhere claiming that some black people are marching around it because that's where the Ark of the Covenant is. Let me make it clear. If these people in Ethiopia had the Ark of the Covenant, they could right now rule the world. right now. They could rule the world right now if they had the Ark of the Covenant, because it was a clean weapon. Was it? And guess what? The Ark of the Covenant just wasn't spoken in the Bible. Okay? Other nations' history has what? Some of the battles they lost trying to come up against our people who had the Ark of the Covenant. That's like fighting against God himself. Okay? Just imagine sitting the Ark of the Covenant down, and then the Most High from heaven send forth spirits to fight the war for you. Game over. Without losing one man. Clean energy. Where the earth is clean, the earth doesn't get scorched, no animals get harmed. Strategic battles where only the enemies die. So you got some guys running around with some sandals, marching around a building talking about they have the Ark of the Covenant. Come on, man. Be very careful when you hear about these Ethiopian lies that are out there. Okay? Those are some of what the Bible calls fables. And they utilize that to misdirect while they continue to do what? While they continue to pose as us. They have us on a wild goose chase to Ethiopia. Every time we talk about our people being the children of Israel, black people and others, North American Indians, and they are, the Hawaiians, and they are, the Bliqua Taínos, the Dominicans, and they are. Every time we talk about this, the Haitians, and they are, the Negroes in America, and those in West Africa, they are, South Africa, they are. Every time we talk about this, they pull Ethiopia out of their orifices, as if they care about Ethiopia. None of our people don't even realize why they invoke Ethiopia in every conversation. You think they care about Ethiopians? Oh yeah, there were black Israelites. There was black people who followed Judaism. A matter of fact, Moses had an Ethiopian wife. I'm like, why they keep bringing in Ethiopia? Oh yeah, the Ark of the Covenant. I heard there's some rumor that the Ark of the Covenant might be in Ethiopia. And none of you ever asked, you never really asked the hard questions. Why these people keep talking about Ethiopia when we're saying we're the Israelites who aren't Ethiopian? Well, number one, they understand that our people don't do any research when it comes to the tables of nations. Okay? Is there a diaspora who went into Ethiopia? Absolutely. But the national origin of Ethiopians, folks, are Hamites. So if we begin to believe that Ethiopians wholesale are Israelites without the knowledge, they can now state claim as the people being from the seeds of Shem. Edomites are Shemites. Ethiopians aren't even in the family of Israelites. That's number one. Another Hamitic trick to have us doing what? Chasing our tails while they take the bag. That's number one. The other thing we have to look at is what? The history and time period they started pushing Ethiopia. During the so-called restoration back to Israel, folks, that's right, like every country, that's right, every country needs a what? A service class or a subclass. So they weren't going to tell our people in America, yeah, you're the Israelites, come on back. This is your land. In close proximity, they could get the poor Ethiopians to come over to be the subclass for them and their colony. So now they'll say the Ethiopians, well, that particular class can gain entry through conversion, okay? Because we as a people verify their ethnicity. We verify them, but we're not going to accept you. Therefore, now they would have a subclass close to the land to work for the colony. Straight up. So the whole deal is never go through for the Ethiopian lie. Do we have people who are dispersed in Ethiopia? Absolutely. Was Haile Selassie an Israelite? Absolutely not. He was a Hamite. Okay. The Haile Selassie thing is a joke. There was no Menelik who took the Ark of the Covenant. All of that is a bold-faced lie. And I'm going to prove that and more tomorrow in finding the Ark of the Covenant. And I'm going to tell you this. We will get the Ark of the Covenant back. Okay? There's no guys running around in Ethiopia right now with some sandals on with the Ark of the Covenant. That doesn't exist. Okay? If you have the Ark of the Covenant, you will rule the world. You will rule the world. And guess what? Are they looking for the Ark of the Covenant? Raiders of the Lost Ark, folks, isn't just a movie. Okay? That's right. Archaeologists behind some of these museums have been searching for this for a long time. And they'll never find it. And guess what, folks? We know exactly, I know exactly where it is. The Most High hid that in the Bible. We all know where it is. But even if I was to go to that place right now where the prophet hid the ark, I couldn't see it. I wouldn't be able to get it. But it will appear. It will appear. When we're in that wilderness, that's right, that fire round about us, folks, that came out of the Ark of the Covenant, where the Most High made a border around us, protecting us coming out of Egypt. So that tells us in of itself, we're getting that back. And when they do, when we get the Ark of the Covenant back, case closed. The end of it all. Okay? So that's it on that. Get in the Hebrew and Bible Academy if you'd like to be a part of this lesson. And then the following week, we're going into the battle between man and women. How can we come together under God? We're going to have some singles and married couples roundtable discussion. Our third one, it's going to be very, very, very cogent. And hopefully we can come to some answers without blame, okay? Without blaming one another. What does God expect from us? And what excuses can we give him for not operating in our roles? Okay? I can make an excuse if I want to of why why something isn't happening. So can a woman. But can we give God those excuses? Will we give God those excuses? So that will be the conversation. What excuse can we give God for not operating in our roles? Will God can we stand before God and say, well, I didn't do my role as a man because I was abused, because my father left, or because my mother wasn't okay, or because my sister hurt my feelings? Okay. Can a sister stand before God in the day of judgment and say, well, I didn't walk in my femininity. I didn't operate as God intended for a woman because someone hurt me. I was upset. I had to guard my heart. Can we tell God this? So I'm going to go into this, right? I'm going to talk about this. Our obligation and responsibility to God. No excuses. Because at the end of the day, God isn't hearing our excuses. This is why in the Bible, Christ came with repent. Repent not only means to repent from the things we've done and change. Repent also means the Most High have given us a clean slate. So you can't come with your abuse from the past if Christ gave you a clean slate. He's given us an opportunity now to be what we were intended to be without the past history creeping up. The old man coming in. So again, repent means to change. That means to walk in newness of spirit. So if you really put on Christ, then the past excuses can't fly. Because you accepted what? The cleansing. You accepted the cleansing and accepted what? To become a new creature. So therefore, there's no excuses. Your past have been washed away, including who hurt you. So why can't you now walk in what? The image of God. Male walking in his image and female walking in her image. We're going to talk about that. Week 7, what excuse can we give God? The battle between man and woman, you don't want to miss that. If this interests you, go to historytimes.org. Now, Elder Lawya, let's go in.
Yes, sir.
Let's go in. A few things have been happening in the news. Right? Yes. I know you all remember. I did this report years ago. That the bountiful temple angel Moroni was hit by lightning. Y'all remember that? Moroni the angel, whoever that is. Okay. Now, this particular I would say visitation happened at the bountiful Utah temple. The Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints was struck by lightning, putting a hole in Moroni's back. Y'all remember that? Signs. Using Jesus Christ, but these are idolaters. These are serious occultists, folks. But I digress, right? And then what happens? One historic place, Salt Lake City, Salt Lake Tribune. The meeting house was described as one of the faith's finest and largest when it debuted in 1926. The historic LDS, Latter-day Saints again, which we believe is very, very highly esoteric when you deal with some of the when you look into some of their practices, right? When you actually look into some of their practices here. Hold on, let me switch this up one moment. When you look into some of their practices, cracked and battered by 2020 earthquake, faces a future rubble. It will be torn to stone. We know who you are now, sending out your children as elders into our community. Doing really reconnaissance. Doing reconnaissance on our people who truly once stood as a Christian community. Okay? But that's over too. And the idolatry is connected to that, and I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, the Most High sent an earthquake, and soon that will be rubble. Okay? Now, lately we've been hearing China, 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 everything China. Well, the Bible says what? That after the Most High has dealt with Babylon, China's next, Asia's next. And here's the prophetic sign before the world. Buddha on fire. Now, I would have used an audio Disco Inferno through this, but of course, I don't want to deal with any music copyright strikes or whatever, but fair use. Burn, baby, burn. Buddha A fire consumed a giant Buddha in major temple. Look at that. According to local media reports, this statue was built in 1998 and a replica of an original which dated back to 425 AD. Burn.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today.
Nah, it's all right. Here it is right here. Now, some people might ask, well, what's the big deal? It's just a statue. But is it? Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
I need you to go real quick to where it tells us that it goes into that we're the portion of the Almighty, Deuteronomy 32, that God is our portion. I need y'all to check this out, folks. I need you to check this out. You may think it's just a statue. Let's see. Let's go to Deuteronomy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8.
Okay, let me put it up for them. Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. Read it.
Yes, sir. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, which is the division of lands. Right? The division of lands. Read.
When he separated the sons of Adam.
Now, when were the sons of Adam separated? They were separated once after the flood. Shem got their geography and land, Ham, and so did Japheth. Japheth received Asia, Europe, that's right, China, Japan, all of that, and Asia Minor, which was Europe, once belonged to the Asians. So there was one divide when Noah divided the lands between his three sons. And then there was another divide at the Tower of Babel that split the earth into 70 nations. It would bring it to 70 with Jacob and Esau, but eventually it would split to 70 nations, right? Now, when the Most High divided the nations and their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, once after the flood and another at the Tower of Babel. Read.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Now that might be confusing to some of you. What do you mean set the bounds according to the number of the children of Israel? When Noah divided the nations, there weren't Israelites. There was no such nation as Israel at the Tower of Babel when it was split. What does it mean according to the number? Well, we're reading from one of the 5 books of Moses. So what is Moses telling us here? Well, when the Israelites came into Egypt, there was a number of 70. Right? Jacob and 70 souls went into Egypt. So he's using a number during his time that all could relate to. Concerning what? The division of nations. When the Most High divided the nations in their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to that number 70. Right? But there's a higher understanding of this in the Septuagint. Let's read in the Septuagint An older version of the Old Testament, which was translated out of Greek, it tells us here. Elder Lawya, read it.
Yes, sir. When the Most High divided the nations, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the nations according to the number of the angels of God.
This is even more in depth. He set the bounds of the nations according to the number of the angels of God. What angels of God? Well, the book of Jasher tells us that 70 angels came down to split the tongues. Where does idolatry come in at, brothers and sisters? Well, the Gentile nations, brothers and sisters, instead of honoring and reverencing the God who divided the Tower of Babel and destroyed the Tower of Babel, the nations began to turn these fallen angels into idols to be worshipped. See? Now you're getting the what? The origin of idolatry. Right? The angels came down, was sent by God to do what? Stop the evil on the earth. And you would think the nations would have served the God who sent the angels. Well, no. The nations began to make idols after the angels who came down, disrespecting the God of Israel. Idolatry is disrespect. That's one level of it, right? But let's go back to Deuteronomy. So you might think these little idols you have in your house or around are innocent, not realizing the spirits behind them. These are vessels for demon possession. And I'm going to go there in a moment. Because spirits, jinns, lie dormant in what? In earth, water springs, rock. So idols were utilized so that spirits could do what? Have temporal places in people's home until sin arise, and then in that home, they can now grab a person. Idols, that's right, folks, idols were housing spirits. Priests would pray over these idols so that they could have a place, so these demons could have a place. And then a person will go, that's right, he'll go to the knick-knack shop or go to one of these ridiculous African festivals and go grab something, not realizing a priest opened a doorway. So in agreement for these spirits, fallen angels, jinns, and demons, the priests get gifts to be able to see and do certain things, but in return, he give, that's right, the dark world and the spirits from them hosts. People that they could utilize, play with, or even destroy. So you will go to a Doom Day, like in Philadelphia, a festival. Go to these African festivals, and you go grab this idol that you think is cute, okay? You think it's nice, and you have a little Asian music playing behind it in your home, and you think it's all good. And there's a demon waiting to take hold. Let me tell you, I celebrated when I seen the Most High destroying these idols, because I know spiritually what's behind it. Right? Let's go Deuteronomy 32:8 again. Let's read that.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 32, verse 8.
Come on.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
That's 70. Read.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
The Most High's portion is his people. So it was meant for God's people to serve the living God, the God who created the angels, and not do an end around by disrespecting him, by worshiping fallen angels, fallen gods, and their offspring. All right. So this was a way Satan could do what? Create a go-between us and our God. Now, of course, Satan would create this because why? All of the fallen spirits are automatically subjected to him. So if you follow the idols who are subjected to him, you are now under his will. You got that? You're under his power now. And this is why God said, Israel, stay away from the idols. It's a form of control. Under the spirit of invocation and order according to their witchcraft. If you bring their idols into your home, if you worship them, you're now subjected to the priests of Satan, who can now use that indirectly to control you. For the Lord's portion is his people. Read.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Jacob is the lot of God's inheritance. See, we belong to him. I don't care about your Buddha stories. I don't care how much tranquility and peace that gives you. Okay, even the tree of good and evil had good in it. I don't care how many Asian flutes you play behind your Buddha. I don't care how good the incense smell next to your Buddha. There's a demon behind it. There's a fallen angel behind it. Know your quote unquote religious history. Idols were always used as a go-between to separate mankind from the Creator. It's dangerous. Has always been dangerous. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Exodus 23. And listen, and believe it or not, even though it's wicked as get up and go. It's wicked as get up and go, but I can understand to some degree why the other nations does idolatry. It benefits them as a nation. Now, of course, when Christ returns, he's going to smash it all, and it's coming down now, right? But to some degree, I can understand why the other nations deal with idolatry and paganism and all that, because it benefits their civilization and society over us. There's a benefit for them. They can use their idolatry to put us under subjection. They're power hungry. Now, will there be a judgment for it? Absolutely. But all in all, for the life of me, I don't understand why our people do it. It has never benefited us. Idolatry have never benefited us, folks. And I need you to think about this. Why do you think there's so many different religions in our community? Why do you think that? You can't go into one of these rural communities where it's predominantly white people and see a Buddhist temple, an Islam temple, a Hindu temple. We're being inundated with idolatry, and it's intentional. An African temple, it's intentional. So can't you see that they've weaponized the dark arts against God's people? They've weaponized the dark arts. The dark arts is bringing a demon into your home without even recognizing it. Idol. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32, Elder Lawyer. And let's start at the 20th verse, if you will.
Yes, sir. The book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse number 20.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
Hold on, let me get it here. 23 and what?
And 20.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Now, since we understand angels came down, right? Doing the Most High doing the Most High's bidding, separated the nations, right? But Abraham and others understood it was our God behind the destruction of the Tower of Babel. Abraham wasn't going to look at those angels who came down and did that and say, you know what? Let me make an angel to Moroni. Let me make an angel to this guy and this angel. This is how witches and warlocks operate, folks. They worship each angel or spirit within nature. They hide it by calling it, I'm a naturalist. I worship, our religion is nature. We worship the springs and for the rain and for the sun and see that? Well, what they're not telling you, all of these were originally in angelic form. These are angels they worship. So when you hear someone say they're a spiritualist, oh, you are a priest or priestess for demonic activity. You are a go-between. You are a doorway between the dark world and this world. Oh no, it's about nature. They're sitting there looking at you, not blinking. It's about nature. The demon have already took host. No. What they're not telling you is what? The secret rituals and rites they do in private to these different spirits. And of course, the spirit will do a few good things for you. They'll throw you a carrot. They'll give you a few things. But at the end, your soul is required. See? Let's read it. And behold, I send an angel before thee,
to keep thee in the way, and bring thee into the place which I prepared.
Now the angel the Most High sent before us in Egypt, coming out of Egypt, was Christ. That was Christ. People say, what? Yeah, folks. You have to realize angel comes from the word El, power. Well, Christ was the highest power in heaven at this time. The intercessor, the messenger. I know people saying, hold up, man. What is this guy Elder Rawchaa is talking about here? Christ? During the time of Moses? Let's break it down. Elder Lawyer, let's get the precept here. You're going to learn today. And check it out. Even Christ, when he came on the earth amongst the disciples, when they asked, well, how do you pray? He didn't say, oh, pray to me. I come to do the will of my Father. See? He said what? This is how we pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. The Most High's kingdom coming. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is coming here. My Father's kingdom is coming here. It was man who turned Christ into an idol because they was used to operating. That's right, folks, in worshiping fallen angels since the Tower of Babel. Christ never said worship him. Let's break it down.
Yes, sir.
Let's read it. And we going back to Exodus chapter verse.
1 Corinthians 10 and 1.
1 Corinthians 10 and 1. That angel was Christ. How do we know this? Read.
1 Corinthians 10, verse 1.
Come on.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
All of our fathers were under the cloud. This is the Israelites coming out of Egypt. This is an Israelite by the name of Paul explaining what happened to our forefathers coming out of Egypt. I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud. Read.
And all passed through the sea.
And we passed through the Red Sea. And there's proof, archaeological proof that happened. Okay. I'm going to be going into that in this academy. Read.
Verse 2. And were all baptized unto Moses.
We were all baptized unto Moses. What does that mean? That means we had to go through water to be saved. The Most High moved the waters, 2 walls, and said we must go through water to be saved. Like manner, we must come through the baptism of Christ to be saved. Anyone is telling you that the baptism isn't a prerequisite for the kingdom of heaven are from the pits of hell. They're the devil's agent. If they're telling you that you can choose whether or not to do it, they're evil. How many people would have made it if they stayed on that side of the water where Pharaoh was? It was no choice. Either you go through the water or die. Like, well, I don't necessarily have to, follow Moses through the water, right? There's a choice. There's a chance I can still live if I stand right here. Right?
What about this? It's just water.
It's just water. Trying to downplay water when all of life came out of water, including the earth. Oh, it's just water. It's just a bath. Downplay it. Well, why did Christ take a bath before John the Baptist? So when these devils try to downplay Christ's first work in the earth, where even the Most High had to co-sign by saying, "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased," giving you the entry into his kingdom. The Holy Spirit was there, God was there, and Christ came out of that water, and it says what? "This is my son in whom I'm well pleased." If you get a demon that's telling you that you have a choice to do what Christ did, you're dealing with an evil usurper. When you hear someone say that, run. Run. Well, what about the men? What about the men that was hanging on the cross next to Christ? Christ says, "Come into my kingdom." You see how they take the exception that proves the rule? Yeah. Okay, that's the exception. So if you are hung on the cross next to Christ and he say come into paradise, yes, you don't have to be baptized. That's the exception that proves the rule. As if he could come down and get baptized hung on a cross. And when you got to use these excuses to try to jump over what Christ requires, that lets you know you've lost. Why not just do what Christ said do? And we're all baptized unto Moses. Read.
Verse, and in the cloud and in the sea, verse 3.
Read.
And did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink.
The spiritual meat was manna. The spiritual drink happened when Moses hit the rock of Gibraltar. Right? Read.
And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them.
That rock that followed them.
And that rock was Christ.
That rock was who?
And that rock was Christ.
That rock was Christ. So understand this and understand it well. It was Christ sent to free the children of Israel from the throne. Okay? It was the Most High who sent Christ in this earth to guide us out, to tell Moses how to construct the Ark of the Covenant so that Israel would have what? That's right, a continual connection to the heavens on a daily basis within the earth. That was Christ saying, well, okay, I'm going to give you the ultimate communicator. Straight from the heavens, here's the Ark of the Covenant. Aaron, your sons, you hold this, and you'll be able to call us anytime from heaven. We're right here. We're right here. That was Christ. He was that angel. So all of you so-called Moses believers who claim that Christ isn't the Savior, well, guess what? Look at it clearly. Understand this. If you don't believe Christ was sent to lead Moses, you don't believe in Moses. Mm-hmm. Because Moses believed in him. Huh? What? Moses understood the power of Christ. Okay? Now let's go. The anointed. He was that angel. Let's go back. Let's go back. Exodus 32, Elder Lawya. 23. I keep getting it backward here. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Exodus 23. Let's go down. What verse here?
We're at 20. Start at 20.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Exodus 23, verse 20.
Come on.
Behold.
Hit the like button, please. Read.
I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
Read.
Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him.
For my name is in him. My name is in him. Christ said, I came not to do my will, but the will of him that sent me. Representing what? Our Father, the messenger. Read.
22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Come on.
For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
And I will cut them off. Now, all of these ancient nations of Canaan and others were known as what? Serious idolators. They used the dark magic that came with idolatry. Read.
24. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods.
Now when we destroy these nations, you are not to bow down to their gods, because you're given the demon connected with the God entry. See? And now you become servants to the dark side. Folks, this is how it works. You become servants to the dark gods when the angels were made to serve us. They were made to minister to the image of God. Well, Satan twisted that. Through idolatry, it puts men under subjection to them. And men are willing to do it for what? For information. They're willing to become servants of Satan for information, for ingenuity, technology, understanding. Because what? It tells us that Satan is wiser than Daniel. The exchange is, I'll give you information in exchange for your soul. Steve Jobs, anybody? Steve Jobs, anyone? Huh? A matter of fact, I'm going to show that tomorrow. Steve Jobs went into India and made an agreement with a shaman. A shaman took Steve Jobs into the mountains of India and left him there overnight. And a presence of a spirit came to Jobs. This is quote unquote not alleged out of Steve Jobs' mouth. And once he left the cave, he had the information on how to make what? The iPhone. That would bring the whole world in subjection. It was an angel. I'm going to show that tomorrow. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, read.
Nor serve them.
Nor serve them.
Nor do after their works.
Nor do after their works.
But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images.
And quite break down their images. Read.
And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
Folks, why did God say that we are not to deal with these idols that were left in these specific areas? Why? If they aren't destructive, if they don't have a negative connotation connected with it, if it cannot be used to take a person down spiritually. So the Most High knew what was in these idols, the religion behind it. It's to what? Capture souls and make mankind their servants. So they indirectly put us under subjection through idolatry. And so the nations don't care. They love this. Why? Because if the Israelites do this, they won't just be subjected to the gods we've introduced to them. They'll become our servants too. See how slavery happens? This is why they've incentivized so many different nations to come into our communities, pushing bogus idolatrous religions. Because they understand the payoff. The payoff is these people aren't just going to worship the gods we introduce to them. That's right. They're not just going to serve those gods. Since we introduce the gods by default, these people are subjected unto us. We're their gods now. We're their masters now. Indirectly, this is how the world have produced, that's right, generational slaves. Hence the reason why they hate the idea of an Israelite. An Israelite is saying, to Hades with your gods, to Hades with your idols. We serve the living God of all gods who will smash your gods and is now burning your idols. See? And that's a signal to them altogether, because it won't be before long. It won't be before long that the power they have through idolatry no longer has its strength over us. See? So they bring this stuff in, sage and crystals and different types of what they would call meditation. Yoga schools popped out of nowhere. People who were devout Christians for generations now have a Buddha in their home. You got a demon sitting in your house. You replace Cesar Borgia with an even worse demon. And why am I saying that? At least with Cesar Borgia, you thought you were honoring Christ. Even in ignorance, you thought you were honoring Christ. That kept you close to the word of God to some degree. Mm-hmm. But what excuse one have for dealing with the Kaaba stone? Idol. What excuse do you have? How can you justify an Asian fat man? It doesn't matter how good he did. And is it really a story of an Asian fat man when that statue predates that particular narrative? Thousands of years, that idol predates who they claim the story is made after. You're really involuntarily, as the scriptures say, worshiping angels. Nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse number 25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take away sickness from the midst of thee.
And I will take away what?
Sickness. I will take sickness away from the midst of thee.
I will take sickness. What verse you at, Elder Lawyer?
That's 25.
I will take sickness. Listen to this. I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. So idolatry also comes with what? Sicknesses. And you notice all of these so-called doctors they're bringing over from overseas who are idolaters, becoming your doctors and all that. You see that? You notice that? A multi-trillion-dollar business the healthcare industry is. Why? It's incentivized. Us becoming sick has empowered them. Have incentivized. They're incentivized with keeping us sick. They're being given all the pharmacies and all these others. The idolatry is the gift for them that keeps giving. Because why? We've taken hold of their idols, their way of life, their belief systems, and now are suffering the curses because of it. The Most High says, do away with their idols. I'll make sure you're healed. I'll deal with you. Part of healing is having the knowledge. People are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. To know what to avoid. To know what's good and lawful according to God when it comes to consumption. That's part of healing. I'm not going to eat this from this idolater. I'm not going to eat that from that idolater. See? I'm not going to listen to anything you say. We're not dealing with anything. You are an idolater. Right? Read.
Yes, sir. Verse 26. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill.
I will fulfill the number of your days. You'll live long. If you listen to us, if you listen to our God, over the idolaters. Read.
27. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee.
And none of these idolatrous nations will ever overtake you in war. I'll fight for you. This was our God speaking to our people. Read.
28. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before thee.
Come on.
And I will drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against thee.
Come on.
By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land.
Until thou be increased and inherit the land. Read.
31. And I will set the bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river, for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand.
I will deliver the inhabitants of what?
Of the land into your hand.
Of the land into your hands. Read.
And thou shalt drive them out before thee.
What verse you at there?
Jumping down to 32.
32.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Thou shalt make no agreements with them. You can't negotiate with them. Read.
Nor with their gods.
Nor with the gods they serve. If Jehovah's Witnesses come in front of your door, no. Why can't you accept my Jesus Christ? You are an idolater. The Church of Latter-day Saints come knocking on your door. Elder Bob on a bike. And he says, have you heard of Joseph Smith? I don't care for Joseph Smith. He's an idolater. If someone comes and says, Assalamu alaikum Muhammad, peace be unto you. All due respect, you can respect your prophet. He belongs to you. My prophet is Christ. That's right. My prophet is Christ, according to what Moses prophesied. Okay? If you would like to do that, do what you do. But guess what? Muhammad allowed what? The Kaaba stone to stay as an idol. So all due respect to you, we do not acquiesce to idolaters. I don't care if you claim that Abraham built a house there. I don't care what reason you claim to be there in Mecca. Okay? We understand the trick, the end around. Every time you bring your idols, our people go into slavery. We become subjects to you to build your empires every time you come peddling your idolatry to us. Thank you, but no thank you. That idolatrous actions are for your people. The Most High's portion is not like other people. We're the Most High's portion. We serve the living God. Okay? We serve the living God, so we're not like you. So if it's benefiting you, knock yourself out. But that's not good enough for them, folks. They have weaponized religion using idolatry as an indirect way of putting God's people under subjection. They've weaponized it right in front of us. They've dressed it up. They have shined it up. They've made it look all good. And we just simple as a days old. Oh yeah, look at this piece of art. You know, let's go put it on my wall. And it's all, you got a mask that looks like a demon from the eighth hell, the 8th level of hell. And you sitting there with a mask from Africa with hay next to it, with a nose this big and a mouth frowning like this. And you sitting there with this African man. Oh yeah, this is the motherland piece right here. And you go hang Beelzebub on your wall. Simple as the days old. Sitting there with you don't know what satanic priest and prayed up into that thing. And then we introduce the Bible to give you the tools to be set free from all of this. Oh man, yeah, man wrote that, you know. You can't really deal with that. The Most High has given us, he's given us information on how to break free from these bonds and strongholds that have been placed on us from the other nations. Let's read.
Yes, sir. 33.
Yeah.
They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. Because
when they bring these idols, it comes with an ideology to sin against God. All of these Gentile religions, when they come with these idols, they have something negative to say about the Bible. You mean to tell me all this good stuff in the Bible, you have nothing good to say about it? Every time they come with these, that's how you know it's evil. Everything they come with throws shade against the Bible. If it's right and correct, why does it come with you throwing shade against the Bible? Why? Because you know the Bible can identify your true intentions, your deceit. Thou shalt not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will utterly, surely be a snare, a trap unto you. Snare is a trap. This is an indirect way of trapping us. I keep using the example of Tina Turner. Grew up in the church, sung in the church. She had a rough life coming up. She meet Ike Turner. Okay, their relationship go awry. Okay. Some relationships, aren't perfect. Relationships aren't perfect, whatever the case might be. But then what? The powers that be use that circumstance, folks, as what? As an advertisement to introduce Buddhist practices within what? A predominantly Christian or people who believe in Christ community. Indirectly, they use one instant, one anecdotal relationship to push a satanic, idolatrous, wicked religion on our people. And what happened after that movie came out? Boom. Those people converting from the Bible, leaving the Bible in droves, began to, and a lot of women in particular, began to cleave to Asian ideology. They just used that as an advert to circumvent those who once believed in Christ. As if turning to Buddha is going to give our women a Tina Turner outcome. And now look. Check out how they did it. They used an instance, brought in a false god into the community and promoted it as something good. Because you must take the stronghold spiritually of a people first. You must bring them from up under the hedge of their God and have them latch hold to another God. And once you did that, it wasn't too long after that, a few decades, that the people who introduced the God would come to take over, to take the property of those their God put into subjection. See? The Asians were there the whole time. But they knew that we were predominantly Christian, Bible believers. And according to the spiritual laws, you cannot overtake a people unless they agree with your God. You can't overtake them. Because what? There's realm wars. Our God will fight against their lower gods. Realm war. So they used a movie and said, let's introduce Buddhists as a solution for black problems. Let's bring our God in first. A snare, according to the Bible. And then we began to take on Asian ideology wholesale. Buddha started popping up all in America amongst what was once a predominantly Christian nation. You took hold to their God, and now, that's right, the Buddhists have come to collect their people. See how it works? If you're under their God and they're the priests and priestesses, you are subjected to them. You are their servants now. Do you know they got an Asian running for mayor in Philadelphia? And I wouldn't be surprised if the Asian win. They've come to collect their people. This is the harm of idolatry and not realizing what God to serve. If you serve their God, you're subjected to them. So they're passing us around, folks. They're passing us around like an unkept orphan. One nation, one religion to the next. The Christian paganism passed us around and used us like a rag. And then they say, okay, we had enough of them. Who what you worship? Okay, bring in Africanism or whatever. Oh, no, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. Come on, bring in the Asians. Bring in Buddha. Here you go. We done wore her out. You can have her now in China. Then you got our people, yoga, Asian ideology. All these things were being pushed on talk shows. And now the idolaters have come to collect. They're going to collect your property. They're going to connect your finances. They're going to collect your person. You will serve them. Okay? Not me. Not me. Next one, Elder Lawya. Let's go to Deuteronomy, right? Exodus 32.
Yes, sir.
Right? Exodus 32. And what did our people do?
Yes, sir. The book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse number 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him.
It says, now check it out. After all of the miracles, Moses is on Mount Sinai receiving the law, right? It states here, when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods which shall go before us. And as for this Moses, that man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him. We have no idea where he is. Right? Now check out our people. Where did they get the knowledge to worship other gods? Well, this was learned behavior in Egypt. See? That was behavior. A lot of our people, there was some of our people as citizens of Egypt, idolaters. See? So when we came out of Egypt, they say, you know what? Let's make some of these idols we were used to worshiping in Egypt. Right? Now check this out. Read.
Verse 2. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me.
And bring them unto me. Okay. Earrings. Read.
Verse 3. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron.
Now, an earrings in of itself is nothing but earrings. A matter of fact, in the law, it was a sign of servitude, which means if you were working with a family and wanted to stay with that family, you'd have to put in an earring or call an earring in so that the people will know that the family isn't taking advantage of you, that you is in agreement with working for this person, staying on their property, right? So now it says right here, and Aaron said unto them, Break off your earrings. Break them off and bring them unto me. Read.
Verse 3. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Moses. Unto Aaron.
Unto Aaron.
Verse 4. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel.
These be thy gods, O Israel.
Which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Folks, and I have ancient books. I have some books over there showing the gods of the Philistines and gods of the nations. I got them over there. And guess what the name of this calf was called? Yahweh. The God of the Shashu. Yahweh have never been God's name. It's the name of the golden calf. It's the same calf you see on Wall Street or in any money district ruled by the people of Satan who are in rule. Established by the people of Satan who are in rule. Every place you see a bull, that's Yahweh. An idol in defiance of the true God of Israel. That's an idol to show the defiance against our God. And they have set up these bulls in every financial district, disrespecting the God of the Hebrews with that idol. Read.
Verse 5.
Come on.
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord.
And tomorrow is the feast to the Lord. What verse is that?
5.
Verse 5. Tomorrow is the feast to the Lord. Who's the Lord that they're making a feast to? Because Moses is speaking to our God. They're making a feast to who? Right here. Let me break it down for you. Right here. Hold up, here it is. Let me break it down. They're making a feast to the Lord. What Lord? Jehovah. The Jewish national name of God. We're going to pause on that for a second. He's not our God. That ain't our God. Huh? Who's the golden calf? Why do you see a bull at every financial district in the world? Yeah. The idol that was made as a disrespect to our God who led us out of Egypt. Jehovah. Jehovah Witnesses, anyone? The Jewish national name of God. That's not our God. Huh? Let's go back.
Yes, sir.
Read the fourth verse again. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Now, you can't say that that's the name that was given to Moses because Moses was up at the mount receiving the law at this time. He's up at the mount receiving the law. Okay? Receiving the commandments. Chapter, verse, Elder Lawya.
Exodus 32, verse 5.
32 and 5. Let's go.
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. And the Lord said unto Moses, go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves.
Have corrupted themselves through idolatry. Through idolatry. And I want to make this clear, folks. I've had many conversations on camera and off the camera with rabbis. And not one rabbi deny when I stated the Most High's name have never been Yahweh. They've never denied it. When I said his name is Rawchaa, they've always confirmed publicly and privately that what I'm saying is well known amongst them. And this is how they state it. They'll never say, yes, you're right in that. They've always came lockstep. It doesn't matter which rabbi I spoke with, would come back and say, well, that's well known amongst our rabbis. You can't say, well, the tetragrammaton really mean the same thing, so that's a lie. The Most High was clear. Rawchaa was the name spoken to Moses. And it had nothing to do with the second person and speaking in the second and third person and all this others, because the Most High isn't subjected to our time and space. He's not subjected to our frame of reference when it comes to time or person. Let's make that clear. And then you have some people, simple as the days old, was saying, well, the law is above the name. That scripture isn't saying that. That's sick ideology to twist scriptures because you don't want to admit the truth concerning God's name. There was never been no conversation that the law is above God's name. Twisting scriptures because you're too proud to admit that you don't want to speak God's name. Let's read it.
Verse 7, And the Lord said unto Moses, Go get thee down, for the people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves.
Come on.
They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which
where are you?
Verse 8.
Come on.
These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
These be the gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Now, why am I going here, brothers and sisters? Well, I cannot tell you to put down your idols and gods, but not introduce the true God to you. See? His name is Rawchaa. And guess what? There is no idol or image on earth that one could make to represent him. Okay? Idols are a clear indication of what? The gods or fallen angels the Gentiles worship. See, this is their communication to you that, yeah, I'm against your God. Okay? So when you see an idol, that's anti-God, anti-Christ. You see a bull in front of a financial institution, which is really a religious institution, if y'all don't know this. Those financial institutions are ancient religious institutions to control societies through commerce. It's part of the governmental system. If you see that, you're seeing an anti-God idol. If you see a Buddha, they're communicating to you that they hate your God. That they hate your God. Anytime you see these idols, those are messages. Let's get it real quick. Psalms 56 real quick. And then we're going back to Exodus.
Gods of the nations.
Yeah, Gods of the nations. Psalms 96 and 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. So they're communicating to you. And the Bible tells you our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. I mean, we're so easily tricked or deceived against ourselves. I mean, they don't even have to really roll out anything deep for us to defy our God. Folks, the only thing someone have to do is do what? Give you some incense, some body oil, and some organic soap. Okay, and some sage. They don't even have to do much to turn you against your God. Incense, oil, and shea butter, and then you got to top it off, and some bud. See, they need the drugs because that's the gateway that will allow the demon to come in and say, yeah, don't you feel good? Isn't it right now? Isn't this the God you should serve? That's how they do it, folks. They don't even, I mean, man, we're bought for cheap. And the Bible tells us that the nations don't even have to do much to have us sell out against our God. That's why even when I walk down the street, Susquehanna Avenue, I'm walking down the street, North Philadelphia, and you can't even get halfway between Dolphin and Susquehanna without 5 separate guys with some incense trying to roll some oil on you. By the time you're at the end of the block, you smell like 30 different fragrances. Hey man, you want to check it out, Gypsy Love. Yeah. I want you blue. We sitting there, we renaming our own oils, walking down the street, and people trying to like, brother, listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know the guys you praying that stuff to. Do not roll that stuff on me. Oh, I just want you. Then Gypsy Sideways Blue, the Egyptian Now. Do you want some? No. You used to walk between Susquehanna and Dolphin. By the time you get to Diamond Street, you smelling like a boutique. What they call that? Bath and Body Workshop. You smell like a Bath and Body Workshop by the 2 blocks down because they sitting there with these long dresses on trying to put perfume on people. No. We're done with it already. Stay away from these other gods. Put down your incense. Put down your oils and find the living God. Chapter, verse. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Psalms 96, verse 4.
Come on.
For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised.
The Lord is great and great to be praised. Read.
He is to be feared above all gods.
Our God is to be feared above all gods. Because why? It's our God who's going to judge Buddha. It's our God that's going to judge your Cesar Borgia. It's our God that's going to judge the fallen angels the Gentiles worship. Their gods have always feared our God, the God of the Hebrews. See? So no, I'm not going to go low and deal with the Gentile gods. What benefit those gods have ever done for us? It was our God who delivered us from Egypt. It was the God of the Hebrews, Lawya, who sent Christ to deliver us from Egypt. So why am I going to go low with the Gentiles who have always hated our God to worship their low religions? And that's including Egypt, that's including Asia, and that's including Africa's spiritualistic religions also. Think about it, folks. The other nations is showing the benefit given them worshiping their gods. They rule. They're in power. They're in power. So we have nothing. We have nothing to show for worshiping their gods. And we'll never get power worshiping their gods. That's the whole point. Our power comes from what? getting back to our God. Their gods empower them as people. Think about that. We have never benefited following their gods. People talking about we need to get back to hoodoo and African spirituality and all. I'm like, listen, our economy and what's going on with us as a people financially tells us that none of this is working. When we were under our God, we had our own nation. We had our own country. We had our own military. We had our own finances. We had our own nation. And the Gentiles feared us. And I'm not talking about individual accolades one could receive in a nation. I'm not talking about individuals. Of course, you have your individuals who can benefit in any society. But as a nation, we have suffered for serving other gods. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Psalms 96, verse 4.
Read.
For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised.
Come on.
He is to be feared above all gods.
Our God is to be feared above all gods. I'm going to show you what can't happen at any time to our God. Let me show you what you'll never see ever happening to our God. Let me see where I have it at. Hold on. Let me see 1 second. Right here. You'll never see nothing like this happening to our God, folks. Buddha. No way.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow
we good. Right? Read it again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods.
Our God is to be feared above all gods. Above all gods. The God of Israel is to be feared. Read.
Verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
All the gods of the nations are idols. So when you see an idol, it's a messaging. That's messaging from the Gentile nations who have conspired against us. We're here. We're here to destroy the people of God. That there's a spiritual war going on. Us against your God, and by default you are an enemy of our people. They're messaging to you. And every time we go buy an idol to them, guess what, folks? We're showing ourselves as an defeated nation. Every time we go into one of their shops and buy something that buy one of their idols, they're saying, okay, we've defeated the children of Israel. We've taken the children of God. Go ahead, take your little idol back, because I got a little demon in there with it, and it's going to cause all types of havoc in your home. Okay, read it again.
Psalms 96 and 4 through 5. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods.
Our God is to be feared above all gods. Now, what is it called? In essence, it's called spiritual fornication. Let's get that, Elder Lawyer. The devising of idols. The devising of idols. Now, pull out your apocryphas here. Your King James Version apocryphas here. Chapter and verse, Elder Lawyer.
Straight to the point, Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. Hold on, let's get it for him. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. Read it.
Yes, sir. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
The devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. You see that? That's like a man's wife going out dealing with another man. See? And you notice, folks, these idolatrous religions which are identified through idols, do you notice that people from the alternative lifestyles more so turn towards the Asian religions opposed to religions or the Bible religions that shines a light on their sexual behaviors? You notice that? That they're readily accepted in Asian ideologies. So they'll cleave to that opposed to the Bible's tenets. So these other religions are what? More accepting to what? Perversion lifestyles. Fornication. See? For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. Read.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
And Satan had these invented to corrupt life. To corrupt our lives. And they sell it as a peaceful, they sell it through a peaceful religion. Oh yeah, it's about peace. It's about chi. It's about a balance in the universe and all this other stupidity they're talking about. With nothing to show for it. And the invention of life, the corruption of life. Why? It comes in a peaceful package, but when it's in your home, it wreaks havoc on everything in your home. Arguments ensue, fights, disagreements. All of these come from these idols, folks, and the ideology that comes with them. Demonic activity. Read.
13. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men entered they into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And therefore they shall come shortly to an end. Read.
For a father afflicted.
No, hold up. Let's jump here. And we're going to get upon the idols there shall be a visitation.
Yes, sir. Verse number.
A matter of fact, let's go to the 21st verse.
That's verse 11.
Verse 11, let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Read.
Wisdom of Solomon 14, verse 11.
Therefore,
even upon the idols of the Gentiles, there shall be a visitation.
Read that again.
Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles.
We're living in modern day prophecy right here. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, read.
Shall there be a visitation.
Shall there be a visitation. Hold it. Hold it. Read it, Elder Lawyer.
Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, there shall be a visitation.
Upon the idols of the Gentiles, our God will send a visitation. Fire. That's a sign. This is our God warning the Asians who are conspiring against the children of Israel, not just here in the Western world, but also in Africa. Upon the what? Read it.
Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, there shall be a visitation.
There shall be a visitation, and it's our God sending a sign to us, folks, that these idolaters will be dealt with. They're working in deceit against us. They're seeking to not just replace us, but to destroy us for the resources we're living on. They want everything that God promised us. They want everything. I need y'all to think about this. We built America. Literally. All the communities that we live in, that the powers that shouldn't be, have denied resources to starve us out. Using what? The Haiti playbook, which is going to just let them coexist without any resource until they destroy themselves. I can go into Philadelphia now and walk down the street on the block I lived on, and I can show you the same hole in the ground I jumped over at the age of 4 years old. To me, it was an obstacle at this time because it looked like a big chasm, a crack in the ground. I can go on Lehigh Avenue and the same buildings, emptied and vacant, are still there. The resources, we built the country, paid taxes, fought in wars, and they will not give our people any resources to survive. And then on top of that, they've incentivized the other nations, Asia in particular, to finish what they couldn't, to take us out and to circumvent us, to actually steal and take any areas we have left as a people. And folks, this is what I'm telling you, folks. You don't understand the depths of spiritual fornication when it comes to us accepting their idols. It's warfare. The more we cleave to their gods, the more we'll die by the hands of Satan's servants. It's strategic, and they've used these tactics to actually destroy us. And now they're coming in the droves, and they're coming to collect, folks, these idolaters. They're coming to collect what they believe belongs to them, us. And any resistance, they're going to find a way to get rid of our people and only to replace or to continue to regentrify our people. We're disappearing, and now the more we disappear, the more we see the others. And folks, this is all connected to what? Our worships. We've accepted their gods and ideologies, and now they've come to collect. Religious warfare. But our God has given us a sign that no. I know y'all trust these people. I know you trust these people. But our God has given us a sign. He's telling us, I haven't forgotten you. I haven't forgotten you, Israel. You can't see the battle, but I'm letting you know the angels are fighting for you. Come back to the God who delivered us out of Egypt. Follow in the path of Christ. I got you. I got you. Upon what? Read it.
Verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, there shall be a visitation.
There shall be a visitation, and we're watching visitations. The Most High striking so-called angels at the top of steeples by lightning, destroying whole constructs through earthquakes. It's our God fighting for people who refuse to fight for themselves. At least we can fight on the spiritual level by coming back to our God and denouncing all idols. And then look at the enemy amongst our people in the conscious community who's pushing idolatry, who's pushing Egyptology, who's pushing Asian ideology, who's pushing witchcraft, who's pushing voodoo and hoodoo and whatever do in our communities. They're the enemy. Read.
Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be visitation.
Come on.
Because in the creature of God there are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
It has become a stumbling block to us and a snare to the feet of the unwise. You can sell our people anything and they'll buy it. Anything. And they'll buy it. Read.
Verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life.
Come on.
For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
Come on.
For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And therefore shall they come shortly to an end. Through vainglory they have come into the world, and they will come, what? Shortly to an end. Read.
Verse number, you want 21?
Just 13.
13. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
Neither shall they be forever. Let's go to 13 and 1 now. Wisdom of Solomon.
Yes, sir. Wisdom of Solomon 13, verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of God.
Who are ignorant of God.
And could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
That they acknowledge the workmaster. So people are ignorant of God. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster. And he's going to show you the foolishness, the foolish mentality that comes with idolatry. Read.
Verse 2. But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars.
Nature, like your pagans. Read.
Or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world.
People are so simple. They're taking what? What the Most High created to serve man and turn them into gods. Fire was made for us to utilize. Wind was made for us. The swift air, the stars who circle the earth were made for us. The water, the lights of heaven, all of this was made so that the angels could minister unto us, which governed the world. These were the powers the Most High put in place. And we're going to look at what's made and ignore who made it. Read.
Verse 3. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is.
So if you can worship the wind, stars, and all these other and behold and respect the beauty God made through nature, how can you ignore the God who created it all? Why not just give the reverence directly to him? Read.
With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is, For the first author of beauty have created them.
The first author of beauty created the angels. You sun worshipers, it was our God who created the sun. You're naturalists. Well, I deal with nature. No, you are a witch. Stop trying to clean it up. You are a witch, sorcerer, or warlock. And watch these people, folks, who say that they're spiritual. Oh, you a Satanist? Satan is spiritual. These are code words for run. I'm a witch. Okay? 4.
Verse 4. But if they were astonished at the power and virtue, at their power and virtue, let them understand that by them, how much mightier he is that made them.
How much mightier is our God? You're so astonished with what the lower creation can do and how it looks and how amazing their works are. But what about the God who made the angels you worship? Okay? That's the God of the Hebrews. That's our God. Read.
Verse 5. For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionately the maker of them is seen. But yet for this they are the less to be blamed, for they peradventure err, seeking God and desirous to find him.
It says they're erring, seeking God and desirous to find him. They're going through all of this nature stuff and acknowledging the other gods, claiming they're on a journey to find God. If you are beholding his nature and respect all that's made, you found God already. He made what you adore and respect and honor. You're on these journeys and all that. Well, no, the God of the Hebrews saying, I'm here. I made all the beauty you love. And you hear these people, I'm on my journey to hell.
Right.
Okay? It's not hard to find God. It doesn't take a journey. It takes respecting what is and honoring him as the author of it, as the creator of it. And through that, obedience according to his law to show you have respect for that God. It's really that simple, folks. You honor him, and then you understand he made it all, and then say, well, what is the rules for this God? Oh, it's in the Bible, the commandments. Let me follow his rules so I can be in his grace to take full advantage of the beauty we behold. The earth he made to minister unto us. Quite simple, right? Read.
Verse 6. But yet for this they are less to be blamed, for they peradventure err, seeking God and desirous to find him.
Come on.
For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently.
Everyone claimed they're looking for God. Read.
And believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen.
They are enamored with things. So these are your so-called atheists. I can only believe in what I see. Okay. What you see was created by my God, by your God. Are you willing to give him that respect? Right? Because the things are beautiful that are seen. Read.
Verse 8. Howbeit, neither are they to be pardoned.
Read.
For if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof?
All the science and knowledge you have concerning how the world works, and you still haven't figured out the God who made the world you're researching. See, this is what we call hustling backward. See, Solomon understood to go directly to the God of all gods. And through that, the Most High gave him the education to how the earth works. You're working backward. I'm not going to believe in the God who exists, but I need to research everything that was made. Right? You're working backward. See? Read. But miserable are they.
But miserable are they, and dead things is their hope. Who call them gods?
Who call them gods?
Which are the works of men's hands.
How can they be gods if men shaped them? Shouldn't the man be more respected than the God you have in your home? Mm-hmm. Because without man shaping the image, those gods you worship wouldn't exist. So that's showing even mere man have greater power and should be reverenced over the idols you have in front of you. Mm-hmm. So this is our God showing the ridiculous mentality and the simple mentality that comes with idolaters. Their honor an image and not realize that image cannot exist without man. So who's greater? Mm-hmm. Man is. Man was made in the image of God. Mm-hmm. The man could shape Buddha. If a man wanted to, you know what he can do? You know what a man can do? A man has so much power with his hands to make Buddha. He can make Buddha lose weight. He can make a slim Buddha. That's right. And put a 3-piece suit on him. A cane and a top hat. Okay? The man can shape the idol. He has more creativity and power than the idol you're worshiping. And I'm talking about man. And this is how the Most High is making it simple to show how ridiculous these Gentile nations are. Because you will have a man go in, come into a temple, and destroy an idol. And guess what? They'll string the man up. They'll kill the man for disrespecting an idol. When men make idols. Like, nah, I'd rather keep the man alive and get rid of the idol. So our Bible teaches the simplicity of idolatry. Mm-hmm. Who called them gods, which are the works of men's hands? Read.
Gold and silver, to show art in, and resemblance of beast, or a stone good for nothing.
Come on.
The work of an ancient hand.
A what?
The work of an ancient hand.
A stone good for nothing. It's as if the Most High is breaking down the Kaaba stone real time. A stone good for nothing. Now let me show y'all something real quick. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse 11. Now a carpenter that fell of timber, after he have sawn down a tree, meet for the purpose, and have taken off all the bark skillfully round about, and have wrought it handsomely, and made it a vessel thereof, fit for the service of man's life, and after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, have filled himself, and taken the very refuse among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood, and full of knots, have carved it diligently, when he have had nothing else to do, and have formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to the image of a man.
I need y'all to see this real quick, folks. Go back to that stone.
Yes, sir. Verse number 10.
Let's go back to 10 real quick. Read that part. I have it right here.
But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope, who call them gods, which are the works of men's hands. gold and silver to show art in, and resemblances of beasts, or a stone good for nothing.
A stone good for nothing. Look at, I showed this in the academy before, but I'm going to show this again. What do we have here, folks? At the corner of the Kaaba stone. A lot of you don't understand that the Kaaba is a female deity of ancient Persian mythology. At the corner of the Kaaba stone, if you have enough wealth and influence, you can actually get to stick your head right here, where it's really the shape of a woman, to kiss the Kaaba stone. How many of you knew that that's what was over there, folks? On Ramadan. What does this have to do with worshiping God? And there's many, many more where that comes from. Many, many more. On and on and on. Look at these people. Look at these people. Need y'all to see this, folks. Look at this guy in the back here. He's about to cry. He's about to cry because, you know, so many other people, you know, are in front of him. He's about to break down in tears. Look at this guy here. What is going on over here? This isn't funny, folks. And you know why it isn't funny? Why are they breaking their neck to get their head up in there? I don't know what's going on with this worship. I know that when they come to the United States, they're empowered over us. So it must be something good up in there. Because by doing this, they feel under their superstition, these activities empowers them over the children of Israel. We're being ran by idolaters, folks. We're being ran by idolaters. Look, my man right here, he's just gonna just lean his hand on this guy's head and say, listen, it may be a while, so I'm just gonna relax right here. Something is going on up in here, folks, that benefits them. Let's finish up, Elder Lawya. Where are you?
Verse number 11.
Come on.
Now a carpenter that fell of timber, after he had sawn down a tree meet for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about,
Yes.
and have wrought it handsomely, and made a vessel thereof fit for the service of man's life, and after that spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, have filled himself, and taking the very refuse among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood.
Being a what?
A crooked piece of wood.
A verse you had it, Lawya.
13.
13. Being what?
A crooked piece of wood.
A crooked piece of wood. Now there you go. There go your cross too. A crooked. People laughing, folks. But I'm gonna tell you, folks, it must be something to it, because whatever they dipping their head into is giving them direction on how to come over here and totally take us out. It must be benefiting them. So how do we fight against this? Denounce and renounce all idolatry and stand under our God, under the hedge and protection of the God of Israel. And you know what? Everything they're doing is going to backfire on them. These are very superstitious people within their religion. And they think it's okay to use dark powers to overtake our people, to deceive our people. But if we come under our God, blessed are thee that bless thee, and cursed are these that curse thee. When they go to these rocks and idols and try to put a curse on us to overtake us and regentrify and destroy us, whatever they wish on us, will blow back in their face. They'll be cursing themselves. But as long as we continue under their religions, their curse works. Their curse against us, to replace us, to destroy us, will continue. And taking the very refuse amongst those who serve no use, being a crooked piece of wood, read,
and full of knots,
read,
have carved it diligently, when he hath nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it into the image of a man.
And fashioned it into the image of a man. Took all that work to make an image of a man. Who's more powerful, the man or the image that's made by man? Read.
14. Or made it like some vile beast, laying it over with vermilion, and with paint coloring it red, and covering every spot thereon.
Artistry, come on.
And when he had made a convenient room for it, set it in a wall, and made it fast with iron.
So here it is. Not only did the man create it, he found a room that men built. And then he fastened it to the floor. Men do.
Verse
I mean, this God needs a lot of assistance, doesn't it? Read.
Verse 16. For he provided for it that it might not fall, knowing that it was unable to help itself. For it is an image and have need of help.
You have a God that can't help himself. Buddha couldn't run. The sea wasn't too far from that idol being burnt. Why didn't Buddha get up and run into the water? Why didn't Buddha extinguish himself? All powerful. Read.
Verse 17. Then maketh he prayer for his goods, for his wife, and his children.
Now check it out. A man will sit here for days, make an idol, color it, shine it, go build a room, put it in a room, fasten it in the room he built, only to turn around and do what? Pray to it. He made it and going to pray that this thing he made bless him, his wife, and children, and is not ashamed to speak that which have no life. How, God is, the Most High is looking down and saying, these men have lost their minds. He built an idol, a shrine, a room. He put all his time and resources into a room to pray to what he made for his family. Lord, the Most High is looking down and saying, don't you know that I made man in my image? Don't you know you are greater than the idols you worship? Lord, how far we're falling. Read.
Verse 18. For health he calleth upon that which is weak.
And then he asked this idol to help when his children or family is sick. When the idol you made is weak, you fastened it in the corner because it couldn't even help itself. But you're going to that for healing? Even in some of these Catholic hospitals, they have chapels and places you can go. And also when you go in there, it's some demonic Mary that they claim is Mary, or some demonic statue sitting there in the chapel, so that what? So that the family members can go down and pray for the healing of their family in the hospital. Some simple, stupid idol in the chapel that men created. Hail Mary, full of grace, my beads on my neck. Hail Mary with the beads, and hold the beads and say 3 Hail Marys, and Mother God, and all this other hot satanic feces that's being spewed throughout the earth. For health he calleth upon which is weak. For life he prayeth to which is dead. For aid he humbly beseech that which he of least means to help. And for a good journey he asketh that which cannot set a foot forward. Go before the image you made and said, please protect us on this journey. And the thing you're praying to can't walk. Read.
Verse 18. And for gaining and getting, and for good success of his hands, asketh ability to do of him, that is most unable to do anything.
And it can do absolutely nothing at all. Now, it's deep in of itself, folks, because this particular chapter, the Apocrypha, the books we're reading from today, is actually in the Catholic Bible. I don't see how, for the life of me, I could never understand how a Catholic can read Wisdom of Solomon and continue to go to the Catholic Church filled with idols. Filled with idols. This is in the Catholic Bible, the Apocrypha. Even though they should have given it to us because it was our record, a part of the original King James. Lord have mercy. Elder Lawya, let's end it out with this one, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Psalms 95 and 1. And read that down to 6. And we're going to end it in Corinthians 8.
Yes, sir.
Psalms 95 and 1.
Book of Psalms, chapter 95, verse number 1.
Let me get it here for them. And I have one more announcement, so make sure you all stick around for a second, brothers and sisters. Psalms, what?
95 and 1.
I'm sorry, let me get it here.
Yes, sir.
Psalms 95 and 1. Now let's deal with solution here. Solution. Let's read.
Psalms 95, verse 1. O come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation.
Read.
Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving.
Let us come before the Most High's presence with thanksgiving. These are laws within the book. Thanksgiving. When we come together, pray, sing, and we're eating lawful foods according to the law of thanksgiving. No shrimp, crab, lobster, no pagan foods. Because at the very end, it tells us in 2nd Esdras that while being idle, the Gentiles would offer what? Foods sacrificed to idols. As a way of what? Getting us sick. Destroying us through their foods. Read.
Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms.
Come on.
For the Lord is a great God and a great king above all gods.
Our God is a great king above all gods. And they have extinguished God's name out of the earth. None of the Gentiles honor or respect our God to a degree. His name isn't even being spoken. And even if you look at Judaism, who claim the whole Torah, they never say the Most High's name. They're working to keep his name off of the lips of the Hebrews. Because these witches, warlocks, and sorcerers understand the power of invocation, and there's an order when it comes to names. And our God, Ahia, is above all the gods within the earth or within the universe. So, for the Lord is a great God. Ahia is his name, and a great king above all gods. Our king is Christ. Read.
4. In his hands are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also.
Read.
The sea is his, and he made it. And his hands formed the dry land.
So all that the naturalists and the pagans honor was made by our God. We must renounce and denounce altogether any level of witchcraft and or paganism. It's a trap. We're going straight to the source going forward. We're going straight to God, straight to Christ, and we'll follow God's law, period. Straight to the source. Everything else the Most High made will reverence us. Period. It was made to minister unto us. Read.
Verse 6. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker.
That's who we will kneel before. The God who created everything. Read.
For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture.
And we are the children of Israel. And we're back. And we're not going anywhere. And we're not Israelites according to some crazy religion people are talking about. We are bloodline Israel according to what? Genealogy. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the prophets, even Christ's blood flows literally through our veins. We are the people. And it doesn't have anything to do with our religion. There's our people right now who are caught up being Muslims, who are converted by the sword. Even though they're practicing Islam, they're still Israelites. 8.
Verse 8. Harden not your heart as in the provocation, and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness.
Harden not our hearts like we did in the wilderness. Gave up hope, only to turn to what? Devising our own idols, giving idols the credit for our deliverance. Okay, be patient. If things aren't working out right now, don't worry about it. Don't turn your back or believe that God has forgotten you. Be patient. Don't let the moment tempt you into idolatry or forgetting your God. Our God, Ahaya. Read.
Verse 9. When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways.
They have not known my ways. Read.
Unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest.
And if you don't operate in patience and use this time to get back on board with our God, you will not enter into the rest. It's time to come back. You see what he's doing to the idols. And it won't be long before he judged the people who are worshiping those idols. That was a sign not just for us, but for them. Corinthians.
Yes, sir.
1 Corinthians 8, and we'll end it there, right?
Yes, sir.
1 Corinthians 8. And I thank you all for your presence today. I hope you've been edified on this Sabbath. You know we love you. And keep your prayers going up for us. Hey, we're battling in the spiritual realm to bring against all evil, to bring this kingdom of Israel here to earth. It's coming. It's coming. We're praying on the right side of this against the evildoers who are working day and night, working tirelessly to destroy our people. Okay, they're not going to do it frontal war because we're too strong for them to overtake. They're doing an end around with their idolatry, witchcraft, programming. See? Regenerification. Bioweapons. Pharmacy. Last scripture, Elder Lawya, 1 Corinthians 8. Let's start at 1 here.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians 8, verse 1.
Read.
Now as touching things offered unto idols.
Now touching things offered unto idols.
We know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth.
Come on.
And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know.
Read.
But if any man love God, the same is known of him.
If any man love the Most High, the same is known of him. Read.
Verse 4. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols,
Read.
we know that an idol is nothing in the world.
We know that an idol is what?
We know that an idol is nothing in the world.
We know that an idol is nothing in the world. See? I still don't understand how Catholics have this in the Bible, but yet are standing in front of Mary doing Hail Marys. Or whom they think is Mary, whom we know it's just Semiramis or some ancient goddess worshipped through the Babylonians. We know that an idol is nothing in the world. It's nothing. Read.
And that there is no other God but one.
So this is even in the New Testament. That there's only one God. But one. See? And see what happens, these people who don't believe in the New Testament, what they try to claim is, well, y'all people made Jesus into an idol above the God of Moses. Wrong answer. That's nowhere in the New Testament where Christ overtook the position of God. You came up with that to win an argument. Okay? Christ said, I came not down to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. He was here to do his Father's business. That's it. And show a path for mankind back to the Father. Okay? There is none other God but one. Read.
For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many.
So there are gods many and lords many, fallen angels and all that exists. The elite powers secretly worship fallen angels and their offspring, Nephilim and demonic activity which came from them. Read.
But to us,
there
is but one God.
But who?
But to us there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him.
Ahia is his name. But to us, crystal clear, there is but one God, Ahia, the Father, whom are all things. Read. And we in him. And we in him.
And one Lord.
And one Lord.
Yeshua the Christ.
Read.
By whom are all things, and we by him.
And we by him. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was a God, a power. And through that power in the beginning, the Father, Holy Spirit, the Spirit that would one day become Christ, he used that Spirit to make all we see. Sent him back in the earth to lead us out of Egypt. And not once was there an idol erected for him to worship him. Later he came and was born in the earth through Joseph and Mary. That's right. And he did what? He set a ministry, a path back to the Father. And not once anywhere in the New Testament was there an idol erected to worship Christ. And now he sits on the right hand of his Father. And those who renounce and or denounce all idolatry and come under the hedge of the heavens, that's right, folks. Those who are part of Christ's priesthood, his body, those who come back to the Father will see him. Will see him upon the return. And behold, what? The destruction of the Gentiles who are idolaters. It was written. So it will be. That concludes our lesson. Tomorrow we're going into Elder Lawya. That's right. You got it. Finding the Ark of the Covenant. I'm going to also touch on portals. And we're going to start off with all of the other theories of where is the Ark of the Covenant. We're going to break this down, and at the very end, brothers and sisters, you'll know exactly where it is. We're going to show you. Now, can one go to that location and actually get it and touch it? No. But when we're in that wilderness, that's right, folks. The angels are going to open up those portals, and all that's been hidden in other realms will come back into what? Our view. Our children are going to look up, and it's going to be the Ark of the Covenant sitting there shining like the first day it was made. It's going to be shining, standing right there and saying, you know what? That's right. Heaven has entered earth. I'm going to go into that. And next week, don't miss it, roundtable discussion, the battle between man and woman. And it's not going to be about what we feel about one another. What excuse will we give God for not operating in the roles he meant for us to operate in under? So at the end of the day, it's not the excuses for not doing what's right against each other, man or woman. What excuse are we going to give God for disobeying him concerning our roles? The role for man and the role for woman. And why are we fighting against nature? Why are we fighting or stubborn concerning the nature God made us to operate in amongst one another? The Most High didn't say, well, okay, I can be a good man if you do this. He didn't say a man have to have conditions on whether or not he's going to be a good husband to his wife. And he didn't say, well, there have to be certain conditions for a woman to be feminine and be in subjection to her husband. The Most High never put conditions in the Bible. So it was never meant for a negative to turn us negative against nature. And I'm going to talk about that week 7. You don't want to miss it. Okay, I'm adding more to my precept booklet. So when the precept booklet be given out at the end of the precept booklet I use on the street, I'm giving it out at the end of the academy. Okay, on top of that, we're going to open it up for 1 hour to an hour and a half. Right before your test, Q&As, and you'll be able to come in on Zoom to give us a testimony on how you enjoyed the academy, what you liked about it, or if there's things we can improve. We'll do that week 13. There's nothing like it, our Hebrew Bible Academy. There's nothing like it in the earth. Never duplicated. It's something that you've never seen before when it comes to information, news, as well as Bible scripture and learning the original Hebrew language. There's nothing like it. The funnest time I've ever had learning the Bible is that Hebrew Bible Academy. So I hope you all come on in. Go to historytimes.org. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. We will soon see Zion. Let's have fun finding the Ark of the Covenant tomorrow. Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
Blessings.